Kalasha is like pure, Kalasha is like divine. Mostly gold jewelry purchases in India are driven by not only like a investment model, it's driven by a sentimental value, it's driven by a culture value. So of course, design is the race, design always wins. Our USP I can say is like our emphasis mostly on more variability of the jewelry. About say 70 crores a year, and then right now we do at 200 crores a year. We spent a huge amount on IT infrastructure, wherein like for gold business, IT infrastructure, and that days people were laughing like, why do you require for gold business? People come, they take physical gold and go. Hi, this is Abhishek Chanda, and you're watching me on Hashtag Magazine. Since my great grandfather, we were dealing into gold and silver. Like we were also dealing into antique. My grandfather, he used to deal with jewelry. My father, like only to raw gold. So in the extended family, everybody are from Hyderabad. Everybody were asking like friends in Nagani. You go to that jewelry. So somebody used to land up in some jewelry store and they used to call us from there by saying that, are you supplying raw gold to this jeweler? Like, why don't you talk to them and give us good discount on that? So I used to get average a couple of calls a day because 90% of the jewelers in the city, we used to supply gold. So like that, family was also expanding, and we thought we should have a good retail presence. Because in 2016 back then, most of the good people, families in Hyderabad, they used to either go to Bangalore or Mumbai or Jaipur to buy jewelry for their weddings. Most of the retailers here in Hyderabad back in 2016 time, they never used to have that exquisite collection or the designer collection where something is different. It used to be regular yellow gold, not like a designer jewelry what a bride or what a woman want to wear for this time of her life. Back then I realized that this is a huge potential to explore a designer jewelry. 2012 also, like when my marriage was there, I was going around the city like to find good jewelry. But most of the thing I could see the same designs everywhere. It wasn't so interesting, and I had to travel to Jaipur and Delhi and Bombay to make my purchases. So I was more inclined towards this to set up designer boutique jewelry store. That's when I chose Banjara Hills as the location. Top brands of the city, of the country, like they are located there. So I thought we'll put our store there, and we started looking for places. We had to work hard for at least 1 year to pull this off, but it was worth it. So back then in 2017, once we opened our store, we received huge appreciation for our jewelry, for our collection, for our ambience, for our store. Like everything was just perfect. Initial days only, we received like 4 awards for our store. Like from IG Awards in Jaipur, they have awarded us as the best store in the country that point of time. And then we had a UBM giving us good awards for our store interiors and most futuristic store, keeping future requirements into consideration also. We have built many corners and spaces so that we can expand our operations. So that way, meticulously it was planned and executed in 6 months of time. 6 months we could able to pull off from scratch to the opening. So we worked hard for that. So that we never looked back. In 3-4 years, we could able to stabilize that. Kalasha Fine Jewels is in the city right now. Like that is a brand what we chose. Kalasha is like pure. Kalasha is like divine. Kalasha is where one bride or a woman, like for a best day, she can come and choose for a best occasion. Year on year, like 2017, we started back then. What turnover we used to have, like we used to do about say 70 crores a year, and then right now we do at 200 crores a year. This point of time, so 200 to 250. I think last year it's been good after the COVID especially. And if you see gold jewelry as an investment, it will give you like 18 to 24% return on a year-on-year basis if you calculate and hold it for 3 to 4 years. And mostly gold jewelry purchases in India are driven by not only like an investment model, it's driven by a sentimental value, it's driven by a culture value, where back in ages also, like in every kind of a Hindu wedding, like for every stages of childbirth, right from child's birth right till the marriage and other things, like jewelry is being preferred over everything. So it's like a natural hedge. I'm very fortunate to be born into a business family which hails from Secunderabad. My great grandfather, like he came down to Hyderabad in 1910. He settled down, and we used to deal in gold and silver. Yeah, that was it. I was born into a very large joint family. Whenever you see, we used to have like more than 50-60 people in our house. My childhood memories were full of like playing in the streets, Like we never used to have those communities, but our surroundings and neighborhood used to be our community. Since my childhood, I used to have summer vacations, and since my high school days, I was inclined towards joining the business. Maybe the genes, or maybe if I was more inclined to the business, I myself used to go and involve myself in the business. I used to go to my store. We had a small store back then in General Bazaar. So it's like naturally, like nothing, nobody forced me, or I'm very kind. God has been kind enough to me to give a good attached parents, like where they encourage me to do all the other things and pursue whatever I like. My parents encourage, okay, we are into the family business. In my family, like most of the people have done graduation, but not full time. Like 2 years they used to go full time, and 1 year they used to do open university kind of a concept. So the focus was on business mostly. They was like, okay, మన ఇంటి నుంచి కూడా ఏమైనా ఇంజనీర్ ఉంటే బాగుంటుంది, సో why don't you pursue engineering course అని చెప్పేసి I have done my IT from JNTU, but JNTUకి వెళ్ళినప్పటి నుంచి like IT course was completely something why am I doing this, why is this necessary for me అన్నట్టు అనిపిస్తుంది నాకు. So it was like a really competitive world back like that point of time. I thought that I didn't have any knowledge, but the only knowledge I gained was during the summer vacation, during the business exposure. So I thought I should do some kind of a professional course. So then I opted for doing MBA in UK. I have done my MBA from Cardiff University, where it's very cool and natural. Like most of the people go to London. I gained a lot of immense knowledge, which I still implement in day-to-day business activity. After going and staying there for 1.5 years, always like మన కంట్రీలో ఉంటేనే బాగుంటుండే. Like as I told you, I was surrounded like 40-50 people in a joint family house and lot of things. So there it is a different kind of a lifestyle altogether. 2011 December I came back. That's when I joined the business. So back then the business practices were really manual, and we used to have a whole lot of manual things going around, like writing and ledgers, accounts and everything. It was not really technology driven. Going into the business, which the same people were doing the things again over it. So I thought I should revolutionize certain things, and I took up change management as my first priority in the business. So we started with digitally enabling things and operations, digitally enabling operations. We spent a huge amount on IT infrastructure, wherein like for gold business, IT infrastructure, until that days people were laughing like, why do you require for gold business? People come, they take physical gold and go. But that is what helped us for seamless operations. So after joining, we had a huge potential. Like we were the top 3 bullion dealers in the country. We import gold and silver, and we sell it to wholesalers, retailers and manufacturers. So people used to come from like Vijayawada and other parts from Vizag to Hyderabad to take the gold. I thought like, why don't we expand? And I started operations in, we opened 3 branches after I joined. I used to take care of them. Like we opened in Vijayawada, Coimbatore and Bangalore. So these were the 3 locations which were like spearheaded by me. And I used to take care of the business operations of these 3 branches. And Hyderabad was naturally taken care by my parents and like my father and my uncle. So back then we used to really have a competition among myself. Hyderabad home branch ఎక్కువ business చేస్తుందా, or we'll do more business, or Abhishek is handling the other 3 stores, other 3 branches. So these 2 business, we had a good quality competition, like a really good environment for having a healthy competitive atmosphere in our office. So that way we did very nice business back then. Most of the things after that I have revolutionized, and I have most of systematic arrangement of things and involving professional team. Now they are on their own. Is like every business has a USP. So our USP is a designer jewelry at a very good prices whatever we give. So I never tell that my things are like too low or too high. We are appropriately priced. The kind of a collection what we make is like a designer collection, like more wearable kind of a stuff I try to bring out to my client. Like a 40-50 lakhs jewelry necklace or a bridal set, if you buy, you can't wear it for more number of times. It gives no sense to keep it inside all the time. So I would always focus on wearability and design. So of course design is the race, design always wins. Our USP I can say is like our emphasis is mostly on more wearability of the jewelry. Like more than 70% of our production we do it in-house. We have a good team back in Bombay who take care of the thing. That is what gives us a good differentiating edge. So mostly the days are hectic, but I'll try to reach home by around say 7-7:30. Weekends also there are always some of the other events or birthdays or social gatherings. COVID was like a really relief, so that where I can balance out things and it. Yeah. But what I do is to balance things, like I have my farmhouse here in Shamilpet. So there, irrespective of anything, I try to go there like 70 to 80% of the Fridays. I love traveling a lot. So I make at least like 4 to 5 trips in a year, wherein one trip will be like with family, one trip will be with friends and things like that. So that is how I balanced things out. I've been to New Zealand, like wherein I've done bungee, I've done skydiving. Skydiving was the most scariest. We did a 10,000 feet, I think. So skydiving was one thing that was the most scariest thing what I've ever done. And then I tried to do short over jet boat ride. And I like adventure and outdoor sports. Like I try to mostly make some time for it, and I make sure like I do those things when I go there. So coming to Kalasha, like we've been doing great for the last 6 years now. Going forward, we plan to become like, we try to change our collection every year, and we try to become more and more adaptive to new fashions and trends. So we want to stabilize for the coming couple of years. We want to stabilize more, and we want to work on our innovative designs and concepts so that we can give good designs to our existing clients. After like 3-4 years from now, we planning to also build our brand by giving out franchises. So we are still in process of that. Right now, it's like a long-term goal what we are looking at as a part of our planning, like after 3-4 years down the line. I don't feel pressure anything because I'm fortunate to have a lot of relievers around me. Like since it's a family business, like my father or my uncles are there to take care of the operations whenever I want to go out, like on a vacation or something like that. So that kind of a pressure is not there, and mostly I don't believe in taking pressure. I believe in setting up systems so that we are always at peace and ease. I always look up to my grandfather, and he's been my sole role model, like wherein like he was a completely different personality altogether. He was like a daring person. He was like a go-getter, and he was very dynamic in nature. He used to take instant business decisions, innovator kind of a thing, wherein we were able to have his blessings right now. And I always look up to him in terms of challenging business situations and complex business situations, wherein he used to always tell that instant decision making is the only thing you can go forward for. I always look up to him for that, and I take him as inspiration. One mantra for the business is you have to do smart work. Hard work is a different phenomenon, and it used to be like a 2 decades old phenomena. But I never say hard work. I say always smart work. Work smart.